Imagine carrying a secret for like 18 years.
Right, which is a long time.
Right. But not a scandal, not something you're ashamed of, but a secret so profoundly good, so objectively heroic that if the press ever found out, it would make you a global saint overnight.
Oh, absolutely.
Now imagine you are already the most famous man on the planet. Like a person whose entire public persona is built on being the greatest, the loudest, the most visible.
Muhammad Ali.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yet you successfully take this magnificent secret almost to your grave. So today we are opening a locked vault.
We really are. We are looking at, I guess, what you could call the architecture of the invisible.
I like that.
Yeah, the profound, often totally hidden impact of private generosity and just absolute unshakable integrity.
Welcome to the deep dive. Our source material today is this really incredible stack of beautifully translated historical accounts, and they center around a staggering, deeply kept philanthropic mission carried out by the American boxing legend Muhammad Ali.
And you think you know Ali, right? Like Ali the champion, Ali the personality.
The talker.
Right, the talker. But these texts reveal an Ali operating entirely in the shadows. He's executing this mission of grace that, it fundamentally altered the genetic and economic destiny of an entire lineage.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And as we unpack the sheer logistical and emotional weight of what Ali did, we're going to find that his story doesn't actually exist in a vacuum.
No, it doesn't.
It shares a psychological blueprint with 3 other remarkable accounts from our sources involving a mid-century district administrator in Pakistan, a guy facing impossible moral dilemmas.
Right, and before we jump in, as we navigate these texts, it's worth noting the specific intellectual framework the original author uses.
Good point, yeah.
The source material evaluates these actions through a distinctly cultural and religious lens.
Yeah.
So it frequently compares Western and Eastern societal practices regarding charity, and it analyzes them using Islamic theological concepts.
Which is fascinating, but just to be clear for everyone listening, our goal isn't to endorse or debate the author's political or religious positioning.
Exactly. We are simply putting on the author's glasses, to view the psychological drivers, the ethical decisions, and just the universal human resonance of the actions themselves.
Right, we are extracting the human element. So let's put ourselves in the passenger seat of Muhammad Ali's car.
Okay, set the scene.
The source paints this very vivid, very ordinary picture. It's morning. Ali's driving his young daughter, Layla, to school.
Just a normal drop-off.
Just a normal drop-off. They hit a red light and idle there, and on the side of the road, Ali sees an older man sitting in a chair, missing a leg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and flanking him are 2 young girls. And they're weaving through the exhaust fumes of the stopped cars, trying to sell balloons and cheap plastic toys to the drivers.
It is the collision of 2 vastly different realities, really. You have the sheltered routine of the wealthy school drop-off intersecting with stark, visible desperation.
Exactly. So one of the girls, a young Christian named Catherine, spots Ali's car. She walks up to the window, but she doesn't actually pitch Ali.
What does she do?
She presses the toys against the glass to show them to Layla.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The psychology of this is incredibly raw. It's the standard street vendor survival tactic.
Right. You don't appeal to the adult's logic.
You target the child's desire. You agitate the kid until the parent buys the toy just to buy peace and quiet in the car.
It's smart. The vendor is essentially leveraging the parent's discomfort.
But Ali completely subverts the script before it can even play out.
How so?
He rolls down the window, bypasses his daughter entirely, and calls Catherine over. He extends his hand.
Wait, he shakes her hand?
He shakes the hand of this child, selling balloons on the street, asks her name, and then points to her entire inventory. Every balloon, every toy she is holding.
Okay.
And he asks, how much for all of it?
Wow. See, on the surface, that is the quintessential celebrity charity anecdote.
Right.
The wealthy icon overpays for goods, clears out the vendor's inventory for the day, gets a rush of dopamine, and vanishes.
Yeah, it is totally transactional.
Transactional, exactly.
But he goes back. And this is the hinge upon which the entire story turns.
Right. This is the part that gets me.
A few days later, Ali is doing the exact same morning commute. He drives past that same intersection. He sees Catherine and her younger sister, Georgina, standing there with a fresh batch of balloons.
Same routine.
Same routine. But he notices a gap in the picture. The father, the older man missing a leg, is nowhere to be seen.
Okay.
Ali drops his kids off at school, turns his car around, drives back to the intersection, and pulls over to interrogate the situation.
This is where we cross the boundary from passive charity into active engagement.
Yeah.
Passive charity is fundamentally about the giver. It is a tool to alleviate the giver's own momentary discomfort at witnessing poverty.
Like giving $5 to feel better.
Right. You throw cash at the problem so you can drive away with a clean conscience.
Okay, let's unpack this, though. Let me play devil's advocate here. Couldn't you argue that noticing the father is missing is just basic observation?
How do you...
I mean, anyone driving the same route every day notices when a billboard changes or a storefront closes, right?
Observing the absence is basic, yes. But altering your trajectory, literally turning your vehicle around to investigate the absence of a stranger, requires a radically different frequency of empathy.
That's a good way to put it.
Ali didn't just see a sad tableau on the street. His brain registered a human system, a fragile family unit.
Right.
When a piece of that unit went missing, he processed it as a crisis demanding his direct intervention.
So he gets out of the car, walks up to the girls, and asks where the older man is. Catherine immediately bursts into tears.
Oh, man.
She tells Ali that the man is their father, Samson Patterson, and that he was recently struck in a horrific car accident.
Jesus.
Yeah, he is currently lying in a hospital bed.
And Ali makes the most logical assumption a person of his means would make here.
He figures it's about the medical bills.
Right. He assumes the barrier to their survival is the cost of healthcare. He tells them they must need money for the hospital bills.
That's the default reflex. Money solves the immediate physical crisis.
But the girls tell him no.
Yeah, the hospital isn't the primary terror for them. In this moment of intense vulnerability, the younger sister, Georgina, breaks down and reveals her actual desperate wish.
This part is so heavy.
It really is. She tells this massive, imposing boxing champion that more than anything in the world, she just wants to go to school.
A devastating admission, considering she is standing on asphalt holding balloons instead of holding a textbook.
Exactly. She explains that their father absolutely forbids them from attending school.
But not out of malice.
No, not at all, out of brutal economic math. Because he is disabled and cannot work, the girls are the sole breadwinners.
Right.
If they sit in the classroom, the stove at home goes cold, they starve. Education is a luxury item they just cannot afford to browse.
And the source text provides a really fascinating window into Ali's internal monologue in this exact moment.
Oh yeah, what does he think?
He stands on the street looking at Georgina, and his mind flashes to his own life. He thinks about his own daughter, Layla. Okay. He realizes that Layla, who has access to the best education wealth can provide, sometimes complains about having to go to school.
Like most kids do.
Like most kids do, yeah. It is a chore, a burden. Yet standing in front of him is a destitute child practically starving for the privilege to sit at a desk.
So he makes this agonizing comparison.
Yeah.
And he makes a decision that just completely alters the fabric of these girls' lives.
Right.
The source quotes his internal resolution. He decides he is going to educate Georgina and Catherine like his own daughters.
Wow.
He essentially says to himself, even if my own biological child doesn't appreciate the privilege of the classroom, I am going to ensure these girls get to study.
Notice the psychological leveling happening there.
What do you mean?
He obliterates the distance between the wealthy benefactor and the impoverished recipient.
Oh, I see.
By framing them in his mind as his own daughters, he adopts a surrogate paternal responsibility. It is no longer about charity. It is about familial obligation.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just promise to look into it or write a check for them to figure it out later.
No.
He physically scoops them up. He loads both girls and all their remaining balloons into his car and drives them straight to the hospital to find Samson Patterson.
He takes command of the situation, but he does so while meticulously respecting the existing familial hierarchy.
Right.
He knows he cannot just hijack these girls' futures without the father's explicit blessing.
So put yourself in that hospital room. Samson Patterson is lying there, broken from a car accident, terrified about how his daughters are going to survive on the street without him to watch over them.
It's a nightmare scenario for a parent.
Absolute nightmare. And suddenly, the door swings open, and Muhammad Ali, one of the most recognizable human beings to ever draw breath, walks in with his daughters.
And the reaction of the hospital staff is exactly what you would expect.
Total chaos.
Basically, the text translates it as the staff giving Ali massive protocol.
VIP treatment.
VIP treatment. Every doctor, every administrator suddenly snaps to attention. They roll out the red carpet.
And Ali takes that red carpet and wraps it around Patterson.
Yes, he
He
does.
weaponizes his own fame. He looks at the fawning medical staff, points to this impoverished, injured man in the bed, and declares, "This man is my dear friend. You must take special care of him."
It's brilliant. He transfers his social capital directly onto the most powerless person in the room.
Dear friend.
Exactly. By labeling Patterson a dear friend, Ali fundamentally changes the hospital's calculus. The doctors are no longer treating a forgotten street vendor, right?
Right, they are treating the personal friend of the heavyweight champion of the world.
The quality of care Patterson receives skyrockets instantly.
It is a masterclass in leveraging privilege. So Ali then sits down by Patterson's bed and makes his pitch.
He formally asks for permission to take over the girls' education.
He promises to enroll them in school, pay all the fees, and most importantly, he promises to provide the family with a regular, substantial financial stipend so the stove stays hot and the girls never have to sell another balloon.
And Patterson's response is just a silent, overwhelming gratitude. His eyes fill with tears, and he grants permission.
And this is where we have to examine the sheer logistical architecture of the secret Ali builds.
Because the mechanics of how he actually pulled this off are insane.
Tell me about it. Most people in his position would set up a trust, right?
Exactly. He rejects every standard operating procedure of modern philanthropy. The source is explicit. Ali chose not to use government programs.
Right.
He chose not to funnel the money through an institutional charity or a tax-deductible foundation. He absorbed the entire operation into his own personal, private life.
That's so much more work.
It is. He personally went to a school near their home. He personally enrolled them. He paid for every uniform, every book, every tuition fee out of his own pocket.
And he built a vault around it. For nearly 2 decades, the only people on Earth who knew this was happening were Ali, the 2 girls, their father, and exactly 1 school teacher who helped facilitate the ground-level logistics.
5 people in the whole world.
Having a secret superhero benefactor. But instead of fighting crime, this hero is just quietly paying your tuition and checking your report card for almost 2 decades.
It is the relentless, quiet consistency that is so striking.
Yeah.
Every 2 to 4 months, for almost 18 years, Ali would quietly visit that school. He would meet with that specific teacher, review Catherine and Georgina's academic progress, and hand over the cash to keep the ecosystem running.
No press releases, no galas, no tax write-offs.
None of it.
It defies human nature, especially celebrity nature. I mean, if I pay for a stranger's coffee, I have to physically restrain myself from telling my spouse about it when I get home.
Right, we all do. We crave the validation of our own goodness.
But Ali successfully starved his ego for 18 years.
And the author of our source text uses this specific mechanism, this egoless, anonymous charity, to make a broader cultural observation.
Okay, what's the author's take?
The text argues that this model of taking absolute personal responsibility for the vulnerable without seeking worldly glory is deeply rooted in Islamic theological principles.
Interesting.
And the author points out a profound irony. Today, you often see these exact principles executed more flawlessly in Western societies by non-Muslims like Ali, at least before his conversion, than in societies that explicitly claim those religious labels.
That is quite an observation.
The author suggests that a society thrives precisely because it has people operating with this level of hidden civic responsibility, quietly uplifting each other rather than pulling each other down.
It's a compelling lens, because the purest form of a philosophy isn't found in a textbook. It's found in a guy quietly checking a report card for 2 decades. So let's fast forward the timeline. We watch Catherine and Georgina travel this massive, grueling road. The source details their journey from primary school through college, all the way to university graduation.
They beat the cycle.
They did. And Catherine, who is described as fiercely intelligent, lands a high-paying, prestigious job at a lens manufacturing company.
The intervention is complete. The girls are self-sufficient.
Yes. So one day, Catherine, Georgina, and their father arrive at Ali's house. They bring gifts to celebrate Catherine's new job. It's a joyful reunion.
A celebration.
Yeah. And as they're preparing to leave, Ali falls back on 18 years of muscle memory. He sits down, pulls out his checkbook, and starts writing their routine stipend check.
He is operating on the assumption that his role as provider is permanent.
But Patterson stops him. He places a hand over the checkbook. He looks at Ali and says, "We no longer need the money."
Wow.
Ali is momentarily confused, asking if he offended them somehow.
Because why else would they refuse, right?
Right. Patterson explains, no, you have showered us with favors, but Catherine has a great salary now. We are secure.
Incredible.
And then Patterson reveals the true purpose of their visit. Catherine had just received her very first advance paycheck. And instead of cashing it, instead of buying something for herself after a lifetime of poverty, she brought her very first earnings straight to Ali.
What's fascinating here is the source captures Ali's internal emotional state in this exact moment.
What did he feel?
Looking at this family, offering him the first fruits of their new life, Ali experiences a profound realization. He states that he felt as though he hadn't just saved 3 lives. He felt as though he had saved and illuminated the lives of 30 million human beings.
30 million. Wait, where does a number like that even come from?
It is the mathematics of exponential human impact.
Okay, explain that.
When you shatter a cycle of generational poverty, you aren't just altering the trajectory of the person standing in front of you. You are altering the destiny of their children and their children's children.
Ah, I see.
You are injecting resources, education, and stability into a lineage that stretches infinitely into the future. Ali felt the sheer, crushing weight of that generational shift. He saw the ripple effect moving outward forever.
Which brings us to the climax of the Ali narrative.
Yeah.
Years pass. Catherine is dominating at the lens company. She is so successful that management throws a massive promotion ceremony for her at the office.
And she invites Ali to attend as a guest.
Right. He sits in the audience, completely anonymous in his role, just an observer to her success.
Just a friend of the family.
Exactly. The executive officer gets up to the podium. He lists all of Catherine's achievements, praises her work ethic, and awards her significant financial bonuses.
Well deserved.
But then, this executive drops a bomb on the entire room. He announces that management has recently uncovered a secret. For the past 2 years, Catherine has been quietly taking portions of her own salary and using it to entirely fund the education and living expenses of 4 of her junior colleagues.
Oh, wow. She became the benefactor. She replicated the exact architecture of grace that saved her.
The office is stunned. And Catherine, standing at the front of the room, completely loses her composure. She breaks down weeping.
It's too much emotion.
And in that overwhelming moment, she points directly into the audience, right at Muhammad Ali. And for the very first time in 18 years, she shatters the vault.
She tells them.
She breaks the pact of silence. She tells the room, I am only standing here today because of that man. And if I am helping 4 people, it is only because he first helped me. All the credit belongs to him.
She exposes the root of the tree.
But let me pause here, okay? Because
Okay.
I think there's a real question for you to consider about why she did that.
Why break the secret then?
Exactly. Why didn't Catherine just stay quiet and look like the sole hero to her coworkers? She risked exposing a man's deeply private 2-decade secret. Why do it?
Because true gratitude, at its absolute core, often demands truth over secrecy.
That's a good point.
Accepting the applause as the originator of that goodness would have been a lie of omission. Catherine understood she was a branch, not the root. To honor the root, she had to expose the lineage of the grace her colleagues were receiving. She needed them to understand that goodness isn't spontaneous, it is taught, and it is passed down.
But look at Ali's reaction to being outed. The room erupts in a standing ovation for him. His cover is blown. But his humility remains totally impregnable.
What does he do?
He stands up, walks to the front, embraces Catherine, and immediately deflects the adoration. He tells the crowd, "Who am I to be a provider? I am merely a medium. The true provider is sitting above. He is the one who provides for everyone."
He refuses the crown. Even when the secret is dragged into the light, he insists he was merely the delivery mechanism, not the source.
The source text summarizes this entire saga with a brilliant metaphor. It says, "A lamp lights another lamp, and soon the whole world is illuminated."
That is beautiful.
Ali is the first lamp. He lit Catherine. Catherine lit 4 others. Those 4 will eventually light 16 others. You don't beat the darkness with one massive spotlight. You beat it with a million hidden lamps passing the flame.
It is the ultimate testament to what power can do when it is wielded quietly.
Speaking of people in positions of power changing lives, let's look at another document in our source stack.
Because Ali had limitless financial power.
Right, he could write a check and solve a problem.
But what happens when the person with the power to give isn't a billionaire, but a government bureaucrat bound by strict laws and red tape? How does hidden grace operate inside a bureaucracy?
To answer that, the sources take us to Zhang, a city in Pakistan during the mid